Hi, I'm Jenn Rice, and I wanted to jump in here this morning and talk a little bit about excuses and excuses, how they're linked to habits. And you saw in my intro, what's your excuse? I have several, and actually this past weekend, I was so fortunate to have Todd Burrier speak at a vision retreat for my fellow friends, business owners, teammates. We are in Hilton Head, South Carolina. I'm actually still here. We're going to take off later today. But in this workshop, we listed our excuses. And I thought, I won't have very many. And I think I filled an entire page, which I later burned, which felt really great, because what I found is I tend to have a lot of excuses around time, not having enough time. How can I possibly make time? Oh, I'll do it in the fall. Oh, maybe next summer would be great. After season, I say that a lot in Naples because we have a seasonal busy time. Oh, after season, I'll start that. I do a lot of that with time. Second thing, and I don't know if you do the same, but a lot of us can tend to do that. Time is a great excuse for pretty much everything. And then fear. Fear was another that came up for me, and it's like fear of failure, fear of, maybe people won't like what I'm putting out. A good example of this is, so recently I decided that I wanted to put out a 14-day challenge that had to do with anti-inflammatory lifestyle. And this wasn't a new concept. I've been thinking about it for, probably 4 months. And there's just a lot of fear around putting it out there. It worked for me. It's kind of a lifestyle that I've adopted. I feel really passionate about it. I hope that people don't have to hit sort of the health roadblock, obstacle, whatever you want to call it, uncomfortable feeling that I had when I was sick last summer. Before they maybe make a change. Sometimes, though, we have to be pushed to that before we make changes, right? So, I'm okay with the journey of it, but I'd love to share what has helped me and sort of the science as well as the integrative medical approach behind it. So I have a lot of fear around this, though. I've been sitting on it. I hadn't really put it out yet. I want to start it April 9th. And while I've been here in Hilton Head, I've had a lot of moments of thinking, maybe I should wait till May for this, or maybe a couple weeks after I get back to Naples, I can see how things are going. And, really the whole reason that I would be doing that would be an excuse. The excuse is that I already have the information for it. I already have the content. Everything is in place other than, me. Right? So I'm just being honest, because if you have a project, maybe it's a change you want to make. Maybe you want a different job. Maybe you want to live in a different place. Maybe it's as simple as you want to lose weight. Maybe you want to pick up a new hobby, but you keep saying, next week, next time, I'm not ready. These are all excuses. And I want to share something really cool about the brain. And basically, the habits we have and the habits we do every day, are heavily linked to neural pathways that are carved in our brain. So actually there are these tracks, there are deep tracks in our brain that are pathways that our habits make. And it was great to hear Todd talk about this, by the way, because he has a certain list of habits that he does every morning. I've also heard Ray Higdon talk about this too, who is a business coach. He's my business coach, and he talks about the habits that he does every morning. And I've been kind of lackadaisical about what I do every morning and creating that habit pathway, but now that I've read a little of the science behind it, not that I didn't trust them before, but I do get that. And basically these pathways are fed by dopamine neurotransmitters, and this creates a reward response. So when we get in our habit and we're doing it correctly, we actually have a feel-good hormone that comes out, and it generates a feeling of pleasure, and that's a real thing. And basically, when we create these habits that are good habits, we feel better about them. So I thought that was so cool. And I was reading some research from a few institutions that do a lot of like prefrontal cortex, so like the front part of our brain, where a lot of the new habits are formed and old habits are kept there. And the researchers found that our brain actually favors when we have a new habit. So our brain likes that we get a new habit. It actually prefers that over like maybe a non-serving habit, or one that doesn't provide us moving forward, whether it's health habits, business habits, if you're in school, learning habits, all of that. So I thought it was really great. If you're hesitant to start a new habit or a new anything, know that your brain wants that habit to happen, which I think is really awesome. And one other thing I want to share is that, there's really one of my favorite, like I said, excuses is not enough time. And really, there's never going to be a good time for me to launch this program. There was not a good time for me to start my home business 4 years ago. There was not a good time for me to go to PA school. I knew I was going to be taking a huge financial hit to go to school when I did at age 30, back to school. So there's never a good time to start something new. There'll never be a perfect time. So if you guys can relate to some of these excuses, maybe you have other ones. I mean, I had a lot of excuses like, oh, it's too cold. It's too rainy to do this. I'm really pretty good at excuses, but listing them and burning them was pretty freeing. And I catch myself now, because even though, like I said, the last couple days, the fears and the timing and the excuses around fear and time have crept in, but I am going forward nonetheless with the April 9th Intro to Anti-Inflammatory Lifestyle Challenge, and I'm just doing it. And I'm going to share what I have, and that's what's going to happen, right? But sometimes we have to push ourselves. So you might be thinking, oh, I've wanted to start this new thing, but I'm going to wait. Do it scared with me. If, if it makes you feel any better, do it scared with me. Step out of your comfort zone, drop those excuses. And if you find value in this video, and if you know someone this may be helpful for, please consider sharing it, or you could tag them here on it. And also, if you're interested in my challenge, there'll be a link here in this video if you'd like to learn more. And I hope you guys have a great, great rest of the day, and talk to you soon.